Let me ask you a question. What do you think the probability is in percentage of Donald Trump, if he's elected, saying something offensive or just crazy that incensed somebody in North Korea, China, Russia?
You know what, Mark,
at
this point, I don't know what to believe, because I just watched that video of the DNC.
Oh, come on, you're changing the subject.
Come on.
You're no, Maria,
no, this is the same subject.
No,
the DNC basically had this video where they were creating, inciting violence at Trump rallies.
Two different things. Okay, so
it's
we'll
the
separate.
Same
I'll address that issue in a minute.
Okay.
We'll talk about the DNC tape in a minute. Okay, well, let's talk about the bigger issue. The President of the United States says something that is offensive to the North Koreans. That Putin finds and says, look, maybe he says something like, I don't believe in NATO until they pay their 2%, so we're not going to leave them open, and Putin decides to test that. That type of uncertainty, I think, is 100% from Donald. That's the uncertainty that crashes markets, right?
So you're really talking about temperament. You're talking about fitness to be president.
Yeah, and common sense, brains, right? I mean, no one said that kind of stuff who's been elected. That puts us at risk of, if China decides to do something, or let's just say North Korea decides to point a missile towards Japan or South Korea, right? How do we respond? Just that pressure on having to make a decision, that craters markets.
But when you talk to people, the average guy and gal out there, they're saying, I want the border secured.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that I'm feeling safe, my family's feeling safe, national security. Yes. Hillary has said she wants open borders.
Not quite open borders, right? Because there's still a vetting process in place, right? It's not like it's easy. But if we're going to stop people from coming over, it's not about building a wall. Notice he's gotten over that. There's so many great technologies that we can use to improve the vetting process. He doesn't understand any of them, right? That's a real problem. And so, yes, I don't agree that you say Hillary says that she wants open borders. That's incorrect. She's for the existing vetting processes, but she is open to bringing in more refugees because that's just humanitarian. But there is a balance, and I think we have to improve our vetting processes. I think technology allows us to do that. I think she's open to it. We haven't seen that from Donald Trump.
I guess when you see what happened in Europe, and you see these million refugees, that people are afraid.
Yeah, it's definitely scary.
So that's why Donald Trump has been so hawkish on this, and it's resonating with people.
Yes, absolutely. It's okay. It's good to be hawkish there, right? And I think she's hawkish in a different way in terms of supporting the existing vetting process, but she's open to letting some people come in. And to some people, that translates into open borders. It's not truly open borders by a long shot. But Donald has yet to propose anything except extreme vetting. So it's one thing to get people anxious about it and upset because it is a very scary topic. It's a whole other thing to propose a solution, and he hasn't come close.
And you think we have the vetting process in place to actually do this?
I don't think it's good enough. I think it could be better, right? I mean, look, the horrible tragedies we've had haven't really
ISIS said they've got a passport machine. We're going to infiltrate the refugee flow.
ISIS is trying to get out of Mosul, right? They've got their own problems. But, again, we can deal with the different nuances and anecdotal evidence. It's a difficult problem, but it's a problem that if we're going to make the efforts to solve it, it can't just be about, hey, they have a passport machine. It has to be about, what are you going to do, Donald? What are you going to do?
What about this video? Have you ever seen such vitriol?
Yeah,
have you ever seen it? I mean, the dirty tricks, I know there are a lot of dirty tricks in politics, but I mean, to have this plan in place to actually hire people to go incite violence at Trump rallies so that people think that it's actually the Trump supporters that are creating this violence. Meanwhile, it's the Democrats doing this. And by the way, they're also putting people in harm's way.
I agree. It was horrible.
Go put on a Planned Parenthood T-shirt and just start fighting, and the media will cover it.
It was horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. They fired the guys. It was wrong. Okay, they make mistakes. They were wrong. They were absolutely wrong. But,
I mean, is the leadership at Hillary's campaign taking ownership and accountability of this? They put a direct lead to Hillary.
Maria, come on, coming from Fox, you can't really go there, right? In an organization, you can't keep track of everything.
Okay.
You have to delegate some responsibility, and at some point, it's like the WikiLeaks emails.
Yeah.
Notice, we have not seen anything from Hillary Clinton in those emails. That tells you she's not an email person at all. There's just no emails there. But
well, we know she's an email person because she had her own private server, Mark.
No, because as someone who's, I'll tell you this, with 100% accuracy, she dealt with 100% of her classified documents in hard copy. 100%. No question about it. Ask yourself, if you're dealing with hundreds of classified documents a day or week, whatever, would you or I or anybody be able to read them on a BlackBerry, one of those old BlackBerries?
I don't know, but
and
I know.
The FBI said she dealt with 100% of her classified documents.
Yeah. But Jim Comey said said after they were given a subpoena to save all emails, they destroyed 30,000 emails.
No. Look, I've read those FBI reports inside and out, and I've installed and done all this software myself, right? That was my first company, right? What they said was they made archive. An archive is a copy. They made multiple archives so that the law firm could go through and, well, first they made archives and they turned over hard copies, and then they
don't have 30,000 emails. That's all I know, and I think that has resonated with the people.
It resonates with people because she didn't come up with a good answer. But the reality is the bleach bit, the deleting of the archive,
the hammering of BlackBerry.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
I know. I mean, that's not how you kill an email, with a hammer.
Well, no, I mean that's the ridiculous side. But
exactly.
But the reality is, the stuff that was bleach bit, there were already hard copies of them. They printed out 50-some thousand emails that they gave to the State Department. All the things that were bleach bit after the fact were not on the server.
So why bleach bit it?
The guy, it was the contractor that did it. The guy was scared, right? I mean, look, I've been that contractor. I did defense contracts. I installed networks. My first company, I'm 24, 25 years old, installing networks, installing messaging systems, installing email servers, right? You screw up and your big client, your big name client, you get scared.
You know, we were just talking with Gene Sperling and also Bill Daley. And one question that I had was, you know, at one point in President Obama's presidency, he had both houses for the first 2 years. He had both sides. He could have done anything. He focused on health care. He did all in on health care. Wasn't it a mistake not to focus on economic growth?
No, because
I mean, look where we are with the health care plan. The Affordable Care Act is bankrupting companies.
Okay, first, the Affordable Health Care is one of the most difficult startups in the history of startups, right? It took on a huge project, and like any other large startup, it's going to have its fits and starts and difficulties. We'll give you that, right? But what's driving the increased insurance policy costs is not Obamacare, it's the cost of health care, it's the cost of medical services. That's what's driving it, because insurance does what? It pays for medical services. If medical services were going down, you know, the costs were going down, we'd say, oh, Obamacare is a huge success and it's getting insurance for everybody.
Well, it's definitely not a huge success.
It's not a failure either. And I'm telling you, one thing that's on the balance sheet of the United States that I'm very proud of as a citizen, we don't let people die in the streets. We try to take care of our people. That is a huge step forward for this country, and I'm proud of that. I like the fact that people feel confident that they can get health care. Now, it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
It's impacted hiring decisions for a lot of companies. I get that. But solving that problem isn't about taking down Obamacare.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing Obamacare. That's ridiculous. It's about dealing with the cost of health care.
Real quick, what do you think Hillary Clinton's big, positive is tonight?
The rope-a-dope.
The rope-a-dope.
Yeah,
she did it at the last debate.
Yeah,
she did it to jump at the rope-a-dope.
Right? When you have an opponent who likes to punch themselves in the face and likes to step on their own feet and trip themselves, you just get out of the way. Why wouldn't you?
She did it very effectively second debate, that's for sure. Mark, great to see you.
Always, Maria.
Thanks for having such a smart discussion with us.
I like it. I love this stuff.
It was really good. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.